Because I can tell by talking to certain guys, like I've had clients / Patreon subscribers that'll write me and they'll say, Alan, man, first they'll compliment me. They say, oh man, Mode 1 was awesome. And Who Said Again was awesome. And, and I'll say, okay, thank you. But then they'll say, okay, I'm having this problem, this problem, this problem. And I'll say, okay, tell me about the last 10 women you approached and had a conversation with.
Address your haters and your critics a lot in your YouTube videos. So why the hate, man? Like what's with all these people out here drinking haterade? Like why are they hating on you, man? Like you're Alan Roger Currie. Well, where's the love?
Well, hey, dude, let's put it like this. For your question number 2, we could probably do a 2-hour show just on your question number 2.
Aye.
That's how deep that is. There's some guys out here that have this attitude towards me. They're like, oh, Alan, I heard about your Mode 1, or I read your Mode 1 book. And you know what? I went out and approached 10 women and they all slapped me in the face and, called me a creep and was like, ew, you're ugly, get out my face. So your Mode 1 is a bunch of bull, man. It doesn't really help, man. And blah, 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 blah. And what I've had to tell men repeatedly, I'm like, hey, I've never promoted Mode 1 as a magic pill. Meaning that if you're a guy that's like 5'3", 450 pounds with 5 rotten teeth in your mouth, and you only take a bath once a week, I don't care if you read all 4 of my books or listen to all 4 of my audio books, Mode 1 ain't gonna help you. And I'm real with guys about that.
Right.
But you got guys out here, so that's one group of haters, is the guys who just feel like, man, all you dating coaches and PUA types, you guys suck. You guys haven't helped me. I'm still living in my grandmother's basement and I haven't gotten any pussy in 15 years. Fuck all you guys.
You know what? Here's another brand of haters. Same guys, but then they say, you know what? You guys worship me. Not, dude, we don't like see, no way. Like, you guys spend way too much. Nah, bruh. No. You ain't fooling me, man. People love to hate shit that they know they can't have. So they hate on us for getting that. Man, you ain't fooling nobody with that bullshit, man. That's another group out there, the Norbits of the world. Here's the thing. There are many strategies to attracting women, just like there are many diets out there to get you fit. What those two things have in common is that most of the time, all of them will work under certain circumstances. But if you don't do it, it's not going to work. You can go on the greatest diet in the world. If you don't do it consistently, it's not going to work. If you employ the Mode 1 strategy with every 10th woman you talk to, you're not going to get laid. You must do it consistently. So when guys say, "Oh, I tried Mode 1 and it didn't work." No, you didn't try it to its fullest extent. You didn't get your hands dirty. You didn't do the difficult part and actually go out and talk to women. I think that's where a lot of guys go wrong, is they read all this theory. Listen, nobody ever learned game by reading shit on their computer for 8 hours a day. You got to go out and talk to women. And just because you don't have the balls to go out and talk to women doesn't mean that Donovan, Sharpe, and Alan Roger Currie don't know what they're talking about.
Exactly. Yeah. Matter of fact, it's funny. I've had to admonish a lot of my clients over the years about that very thing. And recently, I had one of my Patreon exclusive videos where I admonished some of my Patreon subscribers, because I can tell by talking to certain guys. Like I've had clients / Patreon subscribers that'll write me and they'll say, Alan, man, first they'll compliment me. They say, oh man, Mode 1 was awesome and Who Said Again was awesome, and and I'll say, okay, thank you. But then they'll say, okay, I'm having this problem, this problem, this problem. And I'll say, okay, tell me about the last 10 women you approached and had a conversation with.
There you go.
Well, actually,
I didn't really. I talked to one online. Nah, bruh. Nope.
And they end up basically admitting that they ain't approached like any woman in the last, like, say, 6 months or a year. And I'm like, my books are not going to help you if you're just going to stay in the house and watch TV and play video games every fucking week. Man, I appreciate you.
What does he expect to do? Read Mode 1 and have you just come and knock at the door? Hey, I see you in there playing video games. I want to give you. No, that's not how it works, homie.
Exactly, man. So I have to light a fire under a lot of these guys' butts, man, because like there's some clients of mine. I've gotten so mad. I say don't even. And I usually want money, man, because that's how I earn a living. But I've actually rejected some guys' consultation requests because I'm like, man, until you tell me you've approached some new and different women, I'm not having a consultation session with you. Right. I'm not gonna go over the same shit with you, and you ain't approaching no women. You ain't talking to no women.
Right. You can't build if there's no foundation, man.
Yeah, with sisters as a group, as an entire group, I don't have problems with sisters. For me, because I've dealt with a lot of women. I've dealt with white women. I've dealt with Asian women. I've dealt with Hispanic women. And all of them, in my opinion, all of them have their strengths and weaknesses. They don't have the exact same strengths and weaknesses. Like white women's flaws might be totally different than black women's flaws, but they still have them.
Sure.
Same with Asian women, Hispanic women. They have their own set of flaws, man. And so that's my thing, man. I tell guys, man, I'm not going to treat black women like they're 10 times more flawed than other women when that hasn't been my experience.
I agree with that. And I think that when anybody talks about anything, it is based strictly on personal anecdotes. Anytime anyone feels strongly about something on one side or the other, it's not based in theory. It's based on anecdotes. It's based on actual experience. And I think what a lot of guys have to realize is that not everybody has the same sensibilities. Obviously, your sensibilities are, I mean, listen, man, and I'll give it to you, I'll give it to you straight. Any guy, any man who can get black women to have group sex, pay his bills, and let him use her car, you got some game with you, bro. I gotta give it up. Listen, man, I've got serious game. I don't have that kind of game. I'll give it up, man. Like, for serious. That takes some, like, yeah, you really are rubbing your balls in people's faces with that one, for sure. For sure. But again, you and I, we have different opinions on black women. That doesn't mean that you're any more right or wrong than I am right or wrong. Dude, we're two different people. We have different sensibilities. We come from different generations. I mean, listen, black women from one generation are different from generation to generation. This is how it is. And who knows, maybe there are quality black women out there. If they're out there, I haven't met them. Maybe there are guys out there, maybe there are black men out there who date quality black women on the regular. That's fine. He can do a podcast about it. But just because somebody doesn't share, I think what's really important is that anytime that I have a disagreement about something with someone, you can always tell when they are giving you the company line. They're parroting off of what other people say, using someone else's words. And when I talk to you, even though we disagree about black women, I know that you are coming from a place of I don't even know if this is a word, from genuosity. Like you are genuine with your experiences. You're not giving me lines. You didn't read something off the internet and then come on and say it. This is what you've actually experienced, and this is your truth. Okay, that doesn't mean that I'm telling a liar that I'm wrong, but I know that you're coming from a place of genuineness.
See, dude, I think this whole interview has been good, but these most recent comments you just made, man, was so on the money, man. Because you hit so many valid points, man. Number one, yeah, again, looking at you and I relationship, I know how strongly you have harshly criticized black women at times. But it hasn't caused us to fall out, among other reasons, is because you made it the most interesting and valid point. You said everybody has their own anecdotal experiences.
Right.
That forms their beliefs, their attitudes, their opinions. And as long as people keep that in mind, I did a whole episode on my channel called Subjective Truth versus Objective Truth. And some of my haters and critics criticize that episode.
Right.
But a lot of other guys, they love that episode because they know I told the truth. And the analogy I gave is, I said, let's say, Donovan, you had two friends that came to Chicago where it was, let's say it was 65 degrees in Chicago.
Okay.
You had one friend was coming from a city where it was 35 degrees.
Woo. And
he came to Chicago where it was 65. Then you had another friend that was coming from a city where it was 95 degrees. And he's coming to Chicago where it's 65 degrees. Do you think those two friends of yours are going to have the exact same perspective on how it feels in Chicago?
Wow. You know what? I think that's probably the best analogy I've ever heard in that regard. I've never thought of it that way. That makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah, because the person who came from the 95-degree city, they're never going to be able to convince the person who came from the 35-degree city that it's nippy. Right. Even though to them it's going to feel nippy. Right. And vice versa. The person who came from the 35 degrees say is never going to convince the 95 that it feels hella warm. Right. Because to them it's not.
Wow.
And I told people that's how you got to look at different perspectives and different people's experiences, man. You got to always acknowledge that some people have experienced things that are just far different than yourself, and that contributes to their set of beliefs, their set of attitudes, etc. What I call their social programming. See, women, here's the thing with women, and I point this out repeatedly. Women always want their non-sexual attention and companionship to be valued.
That's right.
They always want that to be valued. And Donovan, what does marriage do? What does marriage do for women that it doesn't do for men?
It validates their non-sexual needs. That's exactly what it does.
For you guys who didn't realize that, that's what marriage does for women, among other things. Marriage, when you put a ring on a woman's finger and she has a wedding ceremony.
Yes, you are chosen.
What it announces to society is that at least two things. It announces that this woman, at least one man found this woman worthy of raising his children, being a co-parent to his children. And secondly, it validates that woman's non-sexual attention and companionship is worth investing time in. Wow. Whereas on the flip side, the reason why women hate being called a is because when you call a woman a you're basically saying that woman is only worth being spent time with sexually. Non-sexually, she ain't worth spending time with. And no woman wants that reputation.
Nope, they do not. And women don't want that reputation because they don't want to be defined by their vaginas, right? But here's the thing. If you're f***ing every nigga on the block, you are going to be defined by your vagina, which is why marriage is important to sluts in the first place. That's what it is.
Donovan, the way you express stuff, it always makes me want to say, tell me how you really feel, Donovan.